I remember seeing the Solo Cold when I first started hanging out in the train yard, and I think I was in grade 7 or 8. Then I started painting graffiti in grade 10, and the only shit that was rolling into Halifax was shit rolling on freight trains. But this boxcar stood out, man, and it's white, and just that fucking logo, it just imprinted something in my mind, man. And then I started finding the spot where they laid them up at, man, painting them with HW crew. So it's all memories, and I don't know why the fuck it's so special, man.
Freights, man, we used to just roll out with the whole crew, and it was just so fucking fun, man. Have a bottle of fucking Fireball or some fucking Tall Boys or some shit, man. It was super fucking fun, man. Just relax on a fucking sunny day, fucking see deer and shit. Man, it was so great. I mean, for my mom sees a reefer, it's fucking nothing, you know. It's just oh, white boxcar, whatever. But for us, it's it's involved in our lives, you know. It's a totally different thing. It's we see a fucking reefer, and it fucking means something right away, man. We see it, and we're like, fuck, you know.
Some of the first freights, and I didn't even realize this, but some of the first freights that I was painting was reefers, and I didn't even know that they were reefers. And I was just going to paint, and now, you know, we'd be like, oh, this is nice, it's a white car, you know, you go and paint these things. And I was taking it for granted, and it was not until now where I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I was painting that shit.
A reefer, I think, means refrigeration unit, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why I don't think I've ever asked Josh that, but I just always thought reefer must mean refrigeration unit. So it's one, and I know there's a couple one, what are they called? Is it the Polar Express? No, that's the movie. There's one, the Chill Express. There's a bunch of names. I've heard them from Josh, but honestly I can't remember them. He always wanted to go by and check out the reefers in this one yard where they had pulled the reefers in and then load them up with whatever they were putting in these things, and then they were going out again. And sometimes there were no reefers there, and that would cause maybe a bit of a depression in Josh if there were no reefers. But if there were 3 or 4 reefers there, then he was really incredibly psyched.
Fuck yeah! That's fucking dope. Fuck yeah. Fucking right. Check out this shit. Fucking right. Fuck yeah. Jeez.
The thing about Josh for me is there's such a weird mix of things. Fuck, personal fucking trainer, but also a guy who had a rat tail and wore 2 fanny packs, but is probably
this guy's
top
mad
5 writers
this guy's
in Canada.
But this guy is seriously trooper from the 80s.
Yeah, I know, man.
Just blasted out of the 80s, when fucking stock returns were 40%. He's I don't know, he's a living legend. It's weird.
Driving a fucking Z28, blasting REO Speedwagon, wearing a leather jacket. He's got an REO Speedwagon shirt on. He fucking gets out of his car in front of the high school, unbuttons his jacket, fucking leans against his shirt and shows off the REO Speedwagon logo. That's fucking Fatso right there, man.
Yeah.
To me, Fatso and also Dabs are a particular kind of writer to me. They're good at every element of graffiti, and they do it a lot. When, just bomb, do freights, sick tags, sick throw-ups, burners, man, every element, man. It's crazy. That's what I like about Josh, particularly, Dabs too, man. Just every element, man. we didn't really, like, I've never really benched until I moved away, you know? Like, I mean, you can't just bench, like, fucking pieces here. So, like, when you catch a piece, it's just like, you fucking sit there and, like, you take a flick of it, even if it's garbage, and you fucking study it, and it's, like, so impressive, man. I remember, like, catching all kinds of old stuff, like, before I started really painting freights, and it just was really inspiring, man. And, like, one good thing I think about a small city for freights is that, like, you just pay attention to things more, like, whereas in a city like fucking Toronto or, like, New York or, I don't know, wherever, like, any big freight scene, you know? You'll just see, like, fucking millions of pieces and it doesn't mean shit to you.
I was living in Europe and I wanted to come back and find the solid gold. I missed it, man. I came back and it was gone. So I thought, fuck, man, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna travel where there's reefers. I'm gonna fucking find as many reefers as I can, document as many reefers as I can, and paint as many reefers as I can.
This is for Mr. Fatso1, HW,
Yeah.
Homewreckers. I'm like in another dinosaur age. I don't really get see videos or stuff like that. It just like brings it to life. It's recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, back in the days we used to have a saying like, the story must be told. We rock the solid colds. And we always make these little missions, and that was our job to hit them good, you know. These guys said, man, just get down here. You only need to learn one gear, you know. And I was like, fuck. So that's how crazy I was. That's how down I was to just do trains, you know. My lady got a stick shift, so I just worked at it for a few hours. Fuck it, I just need to get on the freeway and I'm gone, you know. That was my job. Like every other night, just go knock out, you know, trains. That was my job for like maybe 4 years straight. Just pound, knocking them out, you know. Like I said, I paint because I love this shit, and I paint for all the old guys that quit. Like all the old guys that were before my time, and I was a toy back in the day. Everybody's a toy, you know, you can't front. And when I was reaching 18, I was like, I love this shit, I'm not gonna fucking quit, you know. But, you know, I was, like I said, I was a toy, and a lot of people, like I said, were way better than me, and they quit. Even after the years, I would even ride on trains. You're better, but I'm up, you know, or sometimes I write, I'm up more than your whole crew. So, you know, after you paint a lot, you get cocky or whatever, you know, you start rising your egos. But if you have a lot of work to prove it, why not? A lot of people, they trip out when I write it's a classic, you know, and they don't understand it until they're older. They'll come back and say that train was a classic. And when we walked away, I could only say it was a classic. You know, we didn't really have a game plan of nothing. It's just like, where you want to go? The simplest form. I'll go here and you go there. What are you gonna do? Let's do our piece and worry about it after, you know. So we did the clouds, put some characters, and little by little it started growing, you know, the piece coming, the train coming to life. hopefully kids will do more burners, more and solid. You know, yeah, you're up, but are you burning? Like, take it to the next level. You know, that's what I try to do. Or what you gonna bring to the table? Do some fucking nice end to ends. You know, make people say, God damn, that's beautiful. You know, let me try to outdo that one. But you don't understand. Once they try to outdo you, you're like on a mantle. So if you see that train, yeah, we're up here because we burned that train. You know, it's a classic. And so people remember that. And I like that shit. Just like New York. I got to give it up to them guys. We're always trying to burn the old subway shit. But it's up there. If you had to burn it, that's like 20 years ago shit, you know? And if you didn't burn it, that's how high it was. Even though it's simple, you still got to give them props, you know? So that's how I look at it. So to me, I'm just keeping that spirit, like that old school flavor alive, you know?
Okay.
Hi. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm doing a documentary on produce and the refrigerated transport it's in. I was wondering, can my son and I get a day pass to come in? The supervisor over there? So going straight down there? Okay, thank you.
Oh, he's an idiot. He's not gonna go.
Who ain't gonna go lick his stick down?
No, he's not. Please, run. See how nervous she is? She called me and told me that you guys were outside. All right, let's see.
Is the day pass mostly for people that are going to do business?
Buy produce, yeah. But seeing that you coming in, you got the whole
I'm
night.
gonna buy an apple.
Can I buy 2 apples?
Not even. This is by bulk. So you know, it's.
Where's the new Fulton Fish Market?
That's in the back.
Oh, they're pulling trains. Oh, shit. They're probably going to that point.
No, they're pulling it out, so you can film it from them from
the street.
outside. Yeah,
Thanks, man. Oh yeah, look, it's one of the old house pieces.
I was smoking sick.
That was all reefer.
That's the beauty of New York. These guys don't give a shit except getting
You don't
paid.
want them to lose their job.
No, I don't.
Chupacabra, chupacabra, Puerto Rico, chupacabra.
So we're doing a movie on the trains that have the food in it?
When you go to Hollywood, call me, okay?
I will. How long you guys been unloading the reefer trains?
About 8 years. About 8 years.
Do you enjoy doing it, or?
Yeah.
It's probably a pretty good workout.
Yeah, the way he paid me, I don't care.
What's in these? What's in the boxes?
Potatoes.
What kind of trains come here? Like,
Only that one, you know, bring vegetables only, you know.
have you ever seen?
Vegetables, sugar, sunshine, kind like that. You know?
So,
Do you know where the trains come from?
Yeah, that's it. Coming from Idaho, California, with different parts of the country.
have you ever unloaded a solid coal train?
Yeah,
You remember the white one with the big solid coal?
yeah.
You know, there's something about when you're growing up that you need to drive by and see your tag or your throw up every day. And I think that's why a lot of street bombers do it nowadays, is because they like seeing themselves up all the time, you know? And it took a while for me to realize that I could do a piece and it's gonna go cross country and I don't need to see it every day because I'm still gonna get feedback on it, you know what I mean?
When I moved to Pittsburgh, I had just the kids that I met that wrote pretty much did trains. Nexky and Nice Endeavor. So whenever we went to paint, it was mostly just freights. And I learned how to paint, pretty much learned how to paint by going to trains there.
With those guys?
Yeah, with those guys. We would always, whatever yard we would go to, we would always, like, as we got closer to the yard, try and just listen to the engine of the reefers and be like, oh, you could hear them get like kind of excited not to paint like CNs and stuff. So it was like, that was cool. I still do that, like when you go to a yard, just try and listen and see if you can hear the engine.
Zine, who actually put me on to painting reefers, told me that I should be hitting all the reefers, so I did just that. I would come here every other day and just hit whatever came in, one car after another. I had actually met Zine in a yard in New Jersey. He was actually painting with heat, and I was out there with this kid Dessler, who actually was friends with Zine. So that's like the first time we met up, and then we actually kept in touch after that, painted some winters together, and that's where, you know, I painted my first reefer when he took me to his spot in the Bronx. So the first thing we did was a Golden West VCY reefer. Actually, I just got a picture of it sent to me from someone. It's all beat up and rusty. You know, this is pretty much my spot. I'm the only one who paints it, so I'd say 2 or 3 times a week I'll drive by it just to, you know, see what's switched up. They're always moving around. They're always kind of high priority over everything else. Usually nice and flat and white, like a blank piece of paper, so everything kind of jumps off of them. And not everyone gets to hit reefers. You know, most people see box cars or hoppers here and there, but some places just don't get reefers. Out of all the trains I've done, I'd say a good 30 to 40% have been reefers. So, can't go wrong with those.
Have you seen any solid colds over your career?
Yes, I've seen a couple.
Any stories about any solid colds?
Actually, yeah, I got one. It's from Seattle. I was with Paws and Q's. We did a solid cold at this 1 yard. And as soon as we finished, I don't even think we were totally done, but the workers showed up. We turned the other direction to go out, and there was an engine coming in from that side. We tried to hop out to the street. There was a cop rolling down the street. So we went back into the yard and hid from workers for half an hour until a line of piggybacks went through the yard, and we hopped onto the piggybacks and rode them out of the yard. We thought we were in the clear, but the piggybacks started to curve back into the yard, and there was a worker standing 100 feet in front of us, so we had to hop out, and by that point we were close enough to an exit that we ran and got the hell out of there.
Did you finish the solid cold?
No, but I think our pieces were done. I think we were just doing an A2M in between our stuff, and it never finished getting sketched, if I remember right, but that was back in the day. I don't remember that far anymore.
When did you start getting interested in freights, and how?
I started riding in mid-94. Before I started riding, I tagged and we'd see freights rolling.
Did you know what reefers were when you first started?
Didn't know what reefers were, but the first 2 reefers I have flicks of were an Ember Next Key and a Zine.
Jet was here.
Well, what spot are we at?
We are at Del Monte, the ultimate freight spot.
This is where it all happened, eh?
Yeah, and still happens, I guess. I'm gonna do herbal and key lime insides and like a red outline. Some like cotton candy pink in 3D, some shit like that. I don't use Montana paint. I still use the same Rust-Oleum and Krylon stuff that I've been using my whole graffiti career. I can't do highlights for the life of me, but that's what makes me unique. So as far as most people are concerned, this is the first spot in New York where reefers were getting painted. Basically, Jet and Pavs were the first dudes to paint the reefers here. Here we are probably, I don't know, 14 years later, 15 years later, and the spot still gets reefers. You can still paint. Just gotta keep your head, watch around, make sure everything's all right, and you're good. Kids from as far as LA, like Apart has come here. Shit, man, Cope's painted here. Anyone who is anyone has been through this spot at one point or another, you know? BFK pretty much ran the spot from the early 90s up until like 96, 97. That was the last time I painted here with Sign, Cav, Moan, those guys. I would say from 98 to 2000, it was me and Sect, my various other partners that I painted with. In 99, I was on the West Coast. I was out in Vancouver painting with those dudes like Kaput and Cameo and Constant, all those guys. And I was just like, holy shit, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you made it, you know? And here I am 8 years later, 9 years later, wherever the fuck it is. And they're in their corner of the world still doing their little thing. I'm in my corner of the world still doing the same thing. It's like, it's really weird, but it feels like a blink of an eye. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you this, like, this used to be Clover Green. This used to be fucking Krylon Teal. This used to be fucking cherry red fucking Krylon. This might have been baby blue. You know, whatever, you know. But now I'm using, okay, Painter's Touch paint. It's the same fucking piece, but I still come and do it in the same spot on probably the same fucking train because it got painted over because it used to be a fucking upfeed. You don't think that's crazy? I'm not, I'm serious. I do wish I could go back to when it, you know, when I was doing this shit 5 times a week. Not for anything graffiti related, but for the connection I had with my friends at the time. That weird, you know, you really know and learn something about someone you're with when you're with them 5 nights a week and you're relying on that motherfucker to hear a snap in the bushes because it might be a cop. Do you know what I mean? Like, that weird connection you had with your friends at that time where it's like, whoa, it's not about fucking riding a train, it's about going on this great adventure and figuring something out. At the end of the night, going home and having this great tale, this great memory of this crazy night out, you know? Like, walking train tracks, fucking finding a freight, like painting a freight, like hiding from stupid cops, whatever it is, you know? Like,
times change, man. I'm the same way these days. It's like, doing the pieces is that connection.
Yeah.
Kind of brings something back.
Yeah, this is the familiarity. Like, you feel familiar doing this. Like, it brings up all these memories, you know, and you feel comfortable doing this. That's why you go back to doing this.
You know, man, 5-10 years from now, it's gonna be the same thing, like looking back at this.
Oh, it's scary. It's like, okay, I am still doing it right, and I'm still doing it at night, I'm still doing it in the same spots, I'm still doing it for the same reasons, you know, and then to have some kid come and do 600 freights in the middle of fucking nowhere with some wacky brand new style, with his wacky brand new paint, and be the kid's favorite of the month, and sell canvases for $5,000 and go to Paris. Dude, I ain't never been to Paris. Chances are I'll never get to Paris. But good chance is that 10 years from now I'll still be at the same spot painting fucking the same fucking reefers over again for the 3rd fucking time.
You know, it was all about really getting up. It wasn't really about this train, that type. It was like, yo, that's a nice clean surface.
It has wheels.
You know, it's gonna move. Yeah, it's gonna go somewhere. It's got a nice clean surface. Let's do it.
I'll be honest, like, it was fame from the train line. I mean, at 92, I was still pretty much a toy. I mean, I'd been painting since about 88, but my style still wasn't up to par. And one day, I was at this wall spot, and I just seen these clean up fees. And I was like, all right, well, my options are I could try to do this little simple piece that's gonna look whack with 2 colors, that's pretty much a straight letter, and people are gonna look at it like it's toy shit. Or I could do that same thing on this clean freight, and it's gonna stick out.
Nobody knew freights were gonna be the next big thing, the next new wave. So, you know, we were just toying around with them, just, you know, get a name up, throw it up somewhere, anywhere. Nobody knew where it was gonna go, but you figured, hey, you know what, it's a clean spot, you can see it from here, you can see it from there, put your name on it, you know? It's good, you know, it's good.
I didn't even think those things ran out of the Bronx. And like 92, I'm serious, you never really put much thought to it, you know? You're like, yo, this is clean, let's bomb it.
Pavs, Pablo 1, he's been painting since 74, actually, so me and him had a long little thing going when I first started. He didn't like me, I didn't like him. Then wound up being late 70s when I started. That's when he started breaking my balls. You know, because I don't want to over something he did, and you know, he's an old timer, so he kind of thought the respect wasn't there. No, I was just a new toy at the time, so I didn't know nothing about the game. And then we wound up hooking up, doing a lot of drugs, doing a lot of painting, lots and lots and lots of painting, and then that was it. And to this day, he's ready to make a comeback as it is. I'm just trying to get his lazy ass off the couch. You got to know your playing field before you play the game.
As far as the upgrades go, I think maybe like 96, we started realizing these are really good cars. People I've met later, they're like, yo, you guys are so smart, you were hitting up fees, you knew to hit up fees. Dude, if there were like coal cars that went fucking 2 miles down the block into the Bronx and came back, that's what our pieces would have been on. We had limited cars. So we lucked out. There was other cars that we hit that weren't, you know, refrigerated cars, and they get spotted like down south or something. But the same up fee we noticed might get spotted in Florida, and then 6 months later in California. And that's when we really realized, like, yo, these shits are going like everywhere, not just down south, not just out west. They're going everywhere. We didn't even know about Canada at the time because, like I said, this is before internet. It was only kind of who you knew through certain people that you kept in touch with. To be honest with you, and people who were around in 92, 93 will say, if there were more than 50 people, countrywide, like Canada and everything hitting freights, if there were more than 50 people, that was a lot. And later on, we found out we didn't even know about Canada. We didn't even know they were trooping out to Canada.
We didn't know there was
no offense, but
Canada was another world. It wasn't like another.
Yeah, we were like, wow, these things go up there too. Holy shit!
Yep.
You know.
You guys know anything about like my little journey to find solid gold?
No.
From what you told me.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
The only thing is what you spoke of so far. Right.
What would you guys say, like road bumps or little challenges I might face when I'm trying to find this all cold?
Well, you find one's like a needle in the haystack. If you find one, kill it.
God bless you.
Because it's going to be one of the last ones you ever find.
Don't know. For some reason, he's just had some particular fascination for the reefers, and I'm not sure why. I'm guessing the reefers always had the nicest paint jobs. So maybe if you did a production on it, or put a little bit of artistry on it, show up very nicely. A lot of them were being retired in this one rail yard, and I guess eventually headed for the scrap metal heap. So he made a special trip to this reefer old folks home, the equivalent of an old folks home, because I suppose that would be the one spot in the world where you might see a couple hundred of them in one location.
Well, we had a contract, or a couple contracts actually, with the railroad, and because of that we scrapped somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 of those cars. Most of those cars were UPFE cars. The main part of the weight, of course, was in the substructure, what they call the wheel sets and the axles, the components that held the train together, and then the main beam that went across the bottom. The sides and tops were very light gauge steel. Many of them had rusted all the way through, and the only thing that was holding the cars together in many cases was the foam and insulation that was on the interior of the cars. To my knowledge, I'm just a scrap dealer from Colorado, so what do I know? But what I've heard is that at one time the railroad had about 4,500, 4,700 of those UPFE cars, and they had planned over a period of time to take those down to zero and replace them now with what they call the ARMN cars, which are larger cars. They have more cubic capacity, they have more weight carrying capacity. The refrigeration units themselves are controlled now by satellite and GPS systems. They can from the satellite control the temperature of the car, and they can turn the temperature up or down.
Where I grew up, like the first trains I ever saw were like solid colds. There was this milk factory next to my house, and every week on a Thursday they'd get like 4 or 5 different cars there, and it was always like the white BNFEs and solid colds, and there was always pieces on them, and it was always like TLT shit coming out of like Bakersfield and stuff, and that was like the first shit we saw on trains that was like really dope, you know. And so when we'd come and like try to paint, we'd see those cars, if there was nothing on them, like we instantly like wanted to do those, because we didn't know where any of these trains were going or who any of these dudes were that we were seeing pieces from or where they were from. We just knew that if we did like a solid cold, that people would probably see it, because those seemed to be the trains that had like the most pieces on them. I mean, I remember coming in here, and if there wasn't a solid cold or a UPFE, we'd leave and we'd go somewhere where there was one. At first it was me and this dude that used to write Sense. It was him and I, and he was, I mean, he'd painted a lot more than I had back then, but I mean, he was pretty oblivious to like anything about the trains too, you know. And then later that same year, that's when Heat moved to Seattle from the Midwest, and we met up with that dude, and then we started going with him a lot. And then yeah, like Sense wasn't really painting all that much like later on, and so it was mostly just Heat and I. And then Aw moved out, and then it was us three for a while, but mostly it was always just me and Heat for like 2 or 3 years. Usually we'd come really late on Saturday, do a couple cars, leave, sleep for like an hour or two, And then we'd get up like right when it would start to get light to come get our flicks. And if shit was still laid up cool and they weren't like moving stuff, we'd do like another 1, maybe 2 in the day. And yeah, we did that for a while. And then we came one day, went in to get our picks, started up on a train, and all of a sudden like we see like cops in like full uniform and shit like running around in between the tracks. And since it was light out, there was nowhere we could really hide, so we just took off running in a straight line just down the tracks. And there was like this one like rookie cop, young dude, who fucking would not stop chasing us. And I mean, it just went for so long, and it was so hot out, man. It was like in the middle of the summer, and I had all these fucking clothes on and everything. I just fucking got like super tired. I like passed out and fucking smashed my face open on the rails, and the dude got within like 10 feet of like grabbing me, and I like rolled down this hill and rolled into these sticker bushes. And like it was to the point where nobody could even run anymore, and the cop was walking and we were walking, and we just like kept going. And then we went into these buildings way down here, and there's like all these dumpsters and shit, and we just climbed into a dumpster and we just laid in there like all fucking day, and the sun was beating on it, dude, and just like cooking us inside. I got this big ass Mexican dude on top of me the whole time. I was just like, fuck. Most of the people, I mean, I met some of like the best friends that I have to this day, like even non-graph wise, you know what I mean? Like there are dudes that I talk to like almost on a daily basis and shit that I met through writing. But for the most part, like a lot of the dudes I met are just fucking knuckleheads, like, I don't know.
You know, was a tight one, man, was that fucking On Eat Snoop and
that shit was ridiculous. Yeah, I remember when they did that.
Where'd they do that at?
They did that in Florida. That's why it's so funny, because it was like 80 degrees when they did it, and they have like all this snow, and that was like a train we actually planned out like for like years. We had this whole like Snoopy theme we were gonna do, and it didn't even matter what train we were gonna do it on. I mean, we wanted to do it on like a UPFE or something, like something dope that we could get and like be able to spend that much time on. But we talked about it, and we actually had like sketches drawn out for it and everything for a while. And then yeah, those dudes like moved to Florida or whatever, and one day I just get that fucking picture in the mail, and I was like, oh, assholes. I couldn't believe it.
I guess I always just like took my job serious, man, try to be a professional.
Being serious and having integrity is why you're still living broke.
Exactly, man. YOLO, man. You only live once. You better go out there and who gives a fuck, dude.
Yo, this is Eris, TBK, Walnuts, represent SE1, TSC, nigga. Okay. Alright. Reefers are good, they're flat and white. Can't beat that. Just like a 12-year-old girl, flat and white. Alright. Let's see. Now, plus because they travel a lot too.
Yeah, they're quick to move.
They go and move the high priority, but most fools don't know about Tropicana's priority. On the rails it goes passenger trains, intermodals, and Tropicanas. Yeah! That's why they move so much.
Slow it down! Y'all know what time it is. Lil Jon! 3-6 Mafia! What the world been waiting on, man? It's going down! We gon' let you know how we want to come! Goose got me loose! Yo, no control! Money in my pocket and I'm all up in the zone line! Ooh, I'ma act a damn fool, yeah! Ooh, I'm about to act a fool, yeah!
That's the juice, nigga.
I just don't give a fuck. Standing on the table with the weed bottle, drinking out the bottle, motherfucker cup. I pour it in your mouth, lean back, open up.
Whack shit, go over it. Do something nice. See toys out there? Dude just started.
empty big bubbles over your shit. I ain't feeling it. Operation Clean Sweep. Go over the wax shit. Just go over it. Don't paint the clean panels. Save them. Go over the wax shit. You know what I'm saying? Operation Clean Sweep. Do your part. Keep the lines clean.
I'm the realest player, trap star, selling the biggest bricks. I'm the realest player, rap bar, smoking purplish. Step off in the club, I got love, cause I'm nigga rich. Your girl between my legs, do me up like I'm licorice. 25 stacks at the bar, ice on my wrist. Step up to this pimp and get your braided hair wig split. Back off in my Chevy, brains blow out, peanut butter, riding high, staying high. I'm talking like a stutter. Goose got me loose, yo, no control. Money in my pocket and I'm all up in this zone line. Ooh, I'ma act a damn fool, yeah. Ooh, I'm about to act a fool, yeah. Goose got me loose, yo, no control. Money in my pocket and I'm all up in this zone line. Ooh, I'ma act a damn fool, yeah. Ooh, I'm about to act a fool, yeah.
Man, I like Rusto, but Montana.
All fools out there are
hardcore Montana's the best shit.
Fools are like, yo, ain't nothing better, son. Ain't nothing better, son, than a Rusto and a fat cop. Like, fuck that. Ain't nothing better than a fucking can of Montana. Quit fucking being faggots. You know you are.
Hey,
God, I mean, give me a fucking break.
if y'all
dude.
can't afford it, it's all good. You know what I mean? I you know, hustle, make money, get yourself some good paint.
Exactly.
I mean, I work hard. I can get this paint.
I
It ain't
hardly work.
shit,
I
chump
hardly
change.
work and get paint.
Chump change.
I mean, you gotta think that's like graffiti. It's like that's what you do. You know what I mean? So it's
I mean,
like,
so what?
Might as well
Fucking spend a grand on some paint. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Give a
Spend
shit.
spend some fucking money,
A
dude.
grand is just a pebble of sand to
And
me.
fuck all you fucking toys out there that knock that shit.
Yeah,
man.
if you're like
It's
one of
fucking
those-
the most, hands down, the most fucking retarded thing you could ever say in your entire life.
You use Montana, man? Fuck that, man. I use Krylon and a stock tip, man, forever. Well, you're gonna be a toy forever. In your whack, probably, if you're using fucking just Krylon. That means you only go to Michael's and you're gay.
If you paint our Tropicanas, you are in a serious world of pain. You are entering a serious world of pain.
I'm fucking psyched, man, to go to Halifax. I hope there's snow. I hope there's
Dude.
reefers.
This is gonna be so fun.
Fucking right, man. Yo, are we gonna hit some reefers?
Oh man.
Are we gonna fucking paint like crazy or what?
Yes, man.
The snow was fucking needy. We had to fucking wade through that shit, man. Like hella times. It was so funny.
Remember the flicks we got from that too?
Yeah, man. Fuck.
Fucking crazy. That's what's funny about painting reefers in Canada is that we actually do deal with these fucking huge amounts of snow.
We're painting
Like
refrigerated
crazy
cars
shit.
too, but like fuck, it's refrigerated here, man.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, people in California have no idea.
Josh, dude, I fucking got some amazing news. I have tracked a whole bunch of solid colds, and a bunch of them are fucking running. You gotta fucking call me tomorrow, and I'll keep my eyes on this bastard, and we'll fucking find it. Alright, man? Call me. Bye.
Have you seen any solid colds around there lately?
Any what?
Solid cold refrigerated cars?
Solid cold?
Yeah. Do you ever get those ones?
No. Whose cars are those?
Well, that was one of the last refrigerated cars manufactured by Fruit Growers Express in the early 80s.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen any.
Like I'm traveling to like a lot of places, checking out reefers, getting footage of reefers, talking to people, but man, I can't find any solid colds. I'm 28 right now, so growing up as a kid, I saw a lot of these, and they just kind of been implanted in my memory, and I've always been out watching trains and trying to find some of them, but they're slowly disappearing. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it's just a little personal project I'm working on with that.
I'm glad I got photos of all the shit that I caught back then on them. I think if you were doing this like 2 years from now, you probably wouldn't even find one.
I've seen 10 in my layout in 10 years. It's one a year average. But we haven't seen one forever.
I mean, I can't believe I haven't painted more where I come from. Always wanted to paint one. It's one of those things, you know. You see that as a priority.
And never would I thought they would make a fucking train white. To be honest, I don't know what happened to them.
Just the fact that most of them are like scrapped and have been painted over and they're just gone. I think that's definitely your biggest obstacle, you know. It's just hard to find those trains. They just don't really exist nowadays like they used to. I mean, just over like the years that I've been painting trains, I've seen so many trains just disappear.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
What does it sound like?
Golden.
It's one of the white ones. Yo, this is a unique one. Check it out. It's not even baby ridge. It's like a mini ribbon. Dude, is this a solid coal? What? Dude, yo, it's a fucking solid coal, man. This is a fucking solid coal, motherfucker.
Oh my god, dude.
What? This is a fucking solid coal. Hey, we found it. Solid coal. Oh shit. Hey, let's check out the other side. What are we gonna do? Wow. What colors you got? I can't believe this shit. There is a fucking solid cold here before my eyes. And
I don't even know where we're at, but fucking, it's rusted as fuck. I thought it was one of those BNFE baby ridged. Now it's marked BNFE, but I knew it as soon as I saw those little rivets and I saw the serial number. I was like, whoa, 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 this is a solid cold. And did you see that logo? It's a fucking solid cold. Yeah. Okay, let's check this out. We should go just hide in the bush right here for a second. This could be the only chance, but it's got to be fucking painted. I got a black.
You can have my yellow.
Yellow, just something quick, man. Fucking get up, man. Hey, is it cool to be here on the highway? All right, fucking here we go. Expect the unexpected. Remember, it only goes to 102.
I was down to zero, still an unsung hero, waiting for my ship to come ashore. I stood empty-handed, like a seagull stranded, watching all the other seagulls soar. I was slowly losing hope, twisting frayed ends of a rope in a suicidal fantasy. I was going to extremes, losing sight of all my dreams again. I never thought I'd win. I was blinded by the pain, running wild through the rain in a parody of ecstasy. I was inches from the edge, fingers clinging to the ledge again. I never thought I'd win.
I like fucking rare cars. I like the sound of reefers, and knowing that it hardly exists anymore just makes it that much more special, man. It's just rare. It's funny thinking about it that I just did a 7-minute piece. Yellow fill, black outline. And it's probably one of my simplest pieces I've ever done on a reefer. And I thought, man, okay, at the end of this mission, man, I'm gonna just pull out the fucking best burner I've ever done on a reefer, man, on that solid cold, because I'm so inspired by the solid cold. But that's the way it was, man. I didn't even think about one letter. I just came out of me like that, man. I was just more thinking about the cars behind me and these big headlights shining on me when I was painting. And it just came out fast, man, but it was fucking dope, man. That shit just feels good. makes me fucking want to go do it again, really.